Success doesn't happen by accident. It's built in the shadows, forged in the habits no one sees. Behind every achievement, every milestone, and every victory, there's a set of hidden behaviors that separate the extraordinary from the ordinary. These aren't magic tricks or overnight hacks. They're daily choices, quiet disciplines, and relentless mindsets that most people overlook. The truth: highly successful people aren't just lucky, they're intentional. They've mastered routines, priorities, and sacrifices that keep them moving forward when everyone else stalls. Today, we pull back the curtain, expose the truth, and reveal the hidden habits that fuel unstoppable success. Listen to me. Success isn't magic. It's not a lucky break. It's not some one-time explosion of effort where you go hard for a week and then disappear. It's the grind. It's the quiet, unglamorous, often boring work you do day after day after day. It's about showing up when it's raining, when you're tired, when you're uninspired, and when there's nobody there to pat you on the back. It's not the fireworks that make champions. It's the embers that never go out. The difference between people who dream and people who achieve is simple. The achievers keep showing up. They don't wait for motivation because they know motivation is fleeting. They understand discipline is the real driver. When everybody else quits because it's hard, they keep moving. When the mood fades, they still show up. You think the greats wake up every day excited? No, they wake up and do the work anyway. Ruthless consistency means you stop negotiating with yourself. No more. I'll do it tomorrow. No more. I don't feel like it today. Feelings are irrelevant. If it's on the schedule, it's getting done. You treat your goals like oxygen, non-negotiable. When you breathe, you don't debate whether you feel like it or not. You just do it. That's the mindset you have to adopt. You've got to realize that the scoreboard doesn't care about your excuses. Life doesn't reward almost. It doesn't pay out on potential. You can talk about your dreams all you want, but if you're not showing up every single day, you're building castles in the sand. And the moment a wave hits, it all disappears. Consistency is the concrete foundation that no storm can shake. People will tell you they want success, but watch their actions, watch their habits. You'll see them sprint for 2 weeks, then disappear for 2 months. They start and stop. And they wonder why they're stuck in the same place year after year. The truth is, every time you quit, you reset the clock, you lose momentum. And momentum is everything. The people you admire, they protect their momentum like their life depends on it. You can't keep dipping your toe in the water and expect to swim. At some point, you've got to dive in and commit fully. That means showing up when your body says no. That means working through the frustration when you're not seeing results yet. That means waking up earlier than you want, staying up later than you planned, and doing what's necessary, not what's comfortable. Let me make this plain. Your habits reveal your future. If you only put in effort when it's easy, you'll have an average life. But if you can show up on the days when it feels impossible, you'll build a life most people can't even imagine. That's the price. That's the cost of greatness. Not just the sweat you pour out when everyone's watching, but the sweat you pour out in the dark alone with no applause, no recognition, no immediate payoff. This is what ruthless means. You become uncompromising about your standards. You refuse to lower the bar for yourself just because it's inconvenient. You stop making exceptions because every exception is a crack in the wall. Every skipped day is a chip in the armor. And you can't afford that. Not if you're serious. Not if you're chasing something big. Every rep, every call, every practice, every late night, every early morning, it stacks, it compounds. And one day, while everyone else is still trying to get back into it, you'll be 10 steps ahead. That's the power of ruthless consistency. It's not sexy, it's not flashy, but it's the secret weapon of every champion you've ever admired. They just kept showing up long after everybody else stopped. Good enough is the death sentence for greatness. The people who rise to the top don't settle when they hit a goal. They don't sit back and coast just because they've reached a certain level. They see achievement as a checkpoint, not a finish line. They're driven by an internal hunger that says, what's next? How can I be better? How can I learn more? How can I push further? This isn't about dissatisfaction. It's about refusing to let comfort become a cage. When you're obsessed with growth, you see every situation as an opportunity to level up. You study the game like your future depends on it, because it does. You're reading, you're listening, you're asking questions, you're surrounding yourself with people who stretch you. You're seeking mentors, you're testing new ideas, you're stepping into arenas where you're the rookie, because you know that's where the real growth happens. The highly successful understand that skills are like muscles. If you're not building them, they're shrinking. They treat learning as a daily practice, and not a once-a-year event. While most people clock out mentally the moment they leave school, the greats never graduate from growth. They keep the student mindset alive, and that mindset keeps them ahead of everyone else. They don't just consume information, they apply it. They don't read a book just to say they read it. They read it to find one thing they can use right now. They don't attend a seminar just to take notes. They attend it to extract strategies they can execute before the week is over. The obsession isn't with collecting knowledge, it's with transforming it into results. When you're obsessed with growth, you're not afraid to feel uncomfortable. You're willing to walk into a room where you're the least experienced, the least talented, the least informed, because you know that iron sharpens iron, and the only way to get better is to put yourself in situations that demand it. Comfort zones are for people who are okay with staying the same. Growth junkies crave the edge, because that's where the breakthroughs happen. This mindset also kills ego. When you're obsessed with growth, you can't cling to the illusion that you already know everything. You accept that there's always more to learn, always a better way to do things, always a higher level to reach. That humility is what keeps you from plateauing, because the moment you think you've arrived is the moment you start to decline. They're always measuring themselves, not against other people, but against their own potential. They're asking, am I sharper than I was last month? Am I faster, stronger, smarter, more disciplined? They know the real competition is the version of themselves from yesterday, and the goal is to beat that person daily. An obsession with growth also means you're willing to make sacrifices. You'll give up mindless entertainment for time spent learning. You'll trade late nights out for early mornings of focused work. You'll invest money into your own development instead of wasting it on things that don't move you forward. To most people, it looks extreme. To you, it's just the price of becoming who you were meant to be. The truth is, growth is a choice. Every day, you're either feeding it or starving it. And the ones who end up on top, they feed it relentlessly. They don't just want to be good at what they do. They want to be unstoppable. And the only way to get there is to make growth not a phase, not a project, but a way of life. The morning is the battlefield where champions are made. How you start determines how you move through the rest of the day. The people who operate at the highest level don't stumble out of bed reacting to life. They attack the day before it has a chance to attack them. They don't leave the first hours of their day to chance. They design them with intention. They understand that winning the morning means you've already got momentum before the rest of the world wakes up. When you master the morning, you claim control over your most precious resource, your focus. Those early hours are sacred because they're free from the noise, the distractions, and the demands that pile up as the day goes on. Most people waste them scrolling, hitting snooze, or drifting aimlessly. High achievers protect them like treasure. They treat the first moments after they wake up as the launch pad for their mission. It's not about waking up early just to say you wake up early. It's about what you do with that time. They use it to get centered, to set their intentions, to move their bodies, to feed their minds. They make sure the first voices they hear, the first images they see, the first thoughts they think are in alignment with where they want to go. They don't let negativity creep in before they built their armor for the day. Physical movement is often part of it, not just for fitness, but for energy. They understand that a body in motion is a mind in motion. A workout, a run, stretching. It's a way to flip the switch from sluggish to alert. It's telling your mind, we're ready to work. We're ready to win. This isn't optional. It's part of the system that sets them apart from the average. They also feed their mind with intention, reading, journaling, meditating, visualizing. They don't just dive into emails and notifications. They prime their thoughts for success. They take time to remind themselves of their goals, their purpose, their next moves. By the time the rest of the world is waking up, they've already fueled their mental engine. Mastering the morning isn't about cramming more work into your day. It's about starting from a place of power. It's about putting yourself in a position where you're proactive, not reactive. Most people spend their day responding to problems, to other people's agendas, to whatever comes at them. High performers spend their mornings deciding what they will respond to and how. They go into the day with clarity, not confusion. And let's be clear, this takes discipline. Your morning routine starts the night before. They go to bed with a plan, not with chaos. They set themselves up so they don't have to make 100 little decisions. When they wake up, clothes are ready, schedule is ready, priorities are ready. When the alarm rings, they don't negotiate, they execute. Mastering the morning is also about momentum. Small wins at the start of the day create a ripple effect. You get up. When you said you would, you complete your routine, you check off your first priorities. And suddenly, you're moving with force. That force carries into the rest of the day, making it harder for excuses to slow you down. For them, the morning is non-negotiable. It's not left to chance, mood, or convenience. They know that when you own the morning, you own the day. And when you own enough days, you own your life. Comfort is the silent killer of ambition. It feels good, it feels safe, but it keeps you exactly where you are. The people who break through and achieve extraordinary things understand that comfort and growth cannot live in the same place. Every big leap forward in life requires you to step into situations that are uncomfortable, uncertain, and sometimes even painful. They've made peace with this reality. If you want something you've never had, you're gonna have to do things you've never done. And most of those things won't feel good at first. Sacrificing comfort for progress means trading instant gratification for long-term satisfaction. It's saying no to the easy route because the easy route doesn't take you anywhere worth going. It's staying in the gym when you'd rather be home on the couch. It's turning down the late night party because you've got an early morning grind. It's pushing through the mental and physical fatigue because you know that every step forward now is an investment in the life you're building. The average person chases convenience. They want results without the process, rewards without the sacrifice. But life doesn't work like that. Progress demands payment, and the currency is your comfort. The greats know this. They're willing to be tired, sore, lonely, or stretched thin if it means getting closer to the goal. They see discomfort not as a punishment, but as proof they're on the right track. When you choose progress over comfort, you understand that every decision has a cost. You can pay with discipline now, or you can pay with regret later. Regret is the heavier price. Regret is the weight that never leaves you. Discipline might sting in the moment, but it pays you back for the rest of your life. They embrace challenges that others avoid because they know that struggle is the forge where strength is made. It's not just about doing the hard things once, it's about living in that space consistently, waking up earlier than you want, tackling the tasks you dread, having the difficult conversations, showing up when you're not in the mood. Over time, you train yourself to stop fearing discomfort and start using it as a tool. Sacrificing comfort also means letting go of habits and environments that hold you back, even if they feel good in the moment. That could mean distancing yourself from certain people, saying goodbye to certain routines, or cutting out distractions that give you temporary pleasure, but rob you of permanent progress. Every time you make one of these choices, you're telling yourself and the world that your future matters more than your feelings in the moment. This mindset also builds resilience. The more you expose yourself to discomfort, the more capable you become of handling adversity. The things that once intimidated you start to feel normal. What used to drain you becomes part of your strength. And while others are breaking down under pressure, You're moving forward because you've been living in the fire for years. Sacrificing comfort for progress isn't glamorous. It doesn't always come with applause or recognition. Most of the time, nobody sees the hours you put in when it's inconvenient, or the opportunities you turn down because they don't align with your vision, or the internal battles you fight to stay on track. But those unseen sacrifices are exactly what separate the people who talk about success from the people who actually achieve it. Distraction is the enemy of execution. The world is loud, and if you let it, that noise will pull you in 100 different directions until you've burned through your time, energy, and focus without moving an inch toward what actually matters. The people operating at the highest level understand that attention is their most valuable currency. They guard it like it's gold because once it's spent, you can't get it back. Relentless focus on priorities means you know exactly what matters most, and you structure your life around those things. You don't just make a to-do list. You identify the mission-critical tasks that move you closer to your vision, and those get your prime energy. The rest is secondary. You refuse to let urgent but unimportant distractions steal time from the work that truly changes the game for you. Most people say they want success, but their actions betray them. They get caught up in drama, scrolling endlessly, chasing every shiny object that passes by. They say yes to everything, and in the process, they say no to the things that actually matter. High achievers live differently. They know that every yes is also a no to something else, so they say yes with intention and no without apology. Protecting your priorities requires building walls around your time. You don't let random notifications dictate your day. You don't take every call just because the phone rings. You don't open every email the moment it arrives. You set boundaries and you stick to them, even when people don't understand. Because you know the cost of divided attention. It's wasted potential. Relentless focus is also about aligning your daily actions with your bigger vision. You can't just work hard, you have to work on the right things. A farmer can plow all day in the wrong field and still end up with nothing to harvest. Successful people regularly ask themselves, is what I'm doing right now moving me closer to where I want to be? If the answer is no, they pivot immediately. This level of focus requires discipline and self-awareness. It's easy to get pulled into other people's agendas, to let someone else's urgency become your emergency. But when you're clear on your priorities, you don't get tossed around by every wave that hits. You stay anchored to your course, no matter how tempting the distractions might be. Energy management is a big part of it too. You can't give your best to everything, so you give your best to the things that matter most. That means protecting your physical health, your mental clarity, and your emotional stability. If something drains you without giving meaningful returns, you cut it off. If something fuels you and pushes you forward, you make more room for it. Relentless focus also means you stop trying to do everything yourself. You delegate, you automate, you eliminate anything that doesn't need your unique attention. You understand that your time is finite, and if you spend it on low-value tasks, you rob yourself of the chance to make a real impact where it counts. The truth is, staying focused in a distracted world is a competitive advantage. Most people are scattered, constantly reacting, constantly pulled off course. But the ones who master the art of focus move faster, go deeper, and achieve more because they're not wasting their power on things that don't matter. Every day, every decision, every hour is an investment, and they make sure that investment is going into something that will multiply. Feelings are unreliable. They come and go like the weather, shifting with your mood, your environment, and your circumstances. If you only act when you feel like it, you'll never build anything worth having. The people who achieve at the highest levels don't wait for motivation. They move on discipline. They've trained themselves to do what needs to be done regardless of how they feel in the moment. That's why they win when others quit. Unshakable self-discipline is the ability to follow through on your commitments long after the excitement of starting has worn off. It's getting up when the alarm rings, even when you're tired. It's finishing the workout when your body says stop. It's sticking to the plan when distractions are screaming for your attention. It's choosing the hard right over the easy wrong every single time. This level of discipline doesn't happen by accident. It's built through repetition. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you strengthen it. Every time you give in to excuses, you weaken it. The discipline know that the small decisions matter just as much as the big ones, because discipline is a muscle that grows with use and shrinks with neglect. Self-discipline is also about consistency, not perfection. You don't have to feel amazing every day to make progress. You just have to show up. The discipline don't waste time debating whether they're in the mood to work. The work gets done because it's non-negotiable. They treat their goals like appointments with destiny. Miss it, and you miss the opportunity to become who you were meant to be. They also remove as many temptations as possible. Discipline isn't about fighting battles all day. It's about structuring your life so you don't have to fight as many. They build environments that make the right choice the easy choice. If their phone is a distraction, it's off or in another room. If unhealthy food slows them down, it doesn't make it into the house. They know that willpower is limited, so they set themselves up to win. Unshakable discipline means taking responsibility for your actions. No blaming, no excuses, no waiting for perfect conditions. Life will never hand you a flawless setup. There will always be challenges, setbacks, and reasons to delay. The disciplined act anyway. They adapt, they adjust, but they don't stop. They know that action creates clarity, and clarity builds momentum. It's also tied to identity. The disciplined don't just say, I want to be successful. They say, I am the kind of person who follows through. They build their self-image around the idea that they are reliable, dependable, and unstoppable. Every disciplined action reinforces that identity until it becomes who they are at the core. Self-discipline is often lonely because it means doing things most people aren't willing to do. While others are relaxing, you're putting in work. While others are spending, you're investing. While others are drifting, you're moving with purpose. And yes, it can be exhausting, but it's also liberating. Because when you know you can rely on yourself, you stop living at the mercy of circumstance. The truth is, feelings follow actions, not the other way around. If you wait to feel ready, you'll waste years. But if you act first, the feeling of accomplishment will follow. The disciplined don't let their emotions be the driver. They let their vision lead, and they make their emotions follow. That's what makes it unshakable.